Good morning, students. Today I am going to present career counseling session on how to plan startup and legal and ethical steps. Startup and introduction. Startup is an innovative scheme that has been started to help the people who want to start their own business. These people have ideas and capabilities. So the government will give them support to make sure they can implement their ideas and grow. The government of India was launched the Startup India program on January 16, 2016 in New Delhi. What is startup? A startup is a young company that is beginning to develop and grows. Is in the first stage of operation and is usually financed by an individual or small group of individuals. So a startup is a company or project undertaken by an entrepreneur to seek, develop and validate a scalable business model. Well, entrepreneurship including all new business, including self-employment and business that do not intend to go public. Startups are new businesses that intend to grow large by on the solo founder. During the beginning, startup face high uncertainty and have high rate of failure, but a minority of them do go on to become successful and influential such as unicorn. Next, benefits under the startup. DPIIT accept means Department of Promotion of Industries and Internal Trade. Startup can get the following benefits under the startup initiative. First, self-confidence and self-certification. Second, startup patent application and IPR. Third, taxes exemption under 80 IAC. Section 56 exemptions, easy winding up of company nest and easier public procurement norms. Next, Startup India initiative process of registration. First of all, before starting a business, a person should incorporate it has a private limited company, a limited liability partnership and or partnership firm and get the PAN, certificate of incorporation and other necessary compliance. To register a business, a person must first connect to the Startup India or the official website and then complete the registration form and upload all necessary paperwork. Some of the documents needed for registration are a letter to recommendation in incorporation, a registration certificate and a brief description of the business. Since startups are not eligible for income tax benefits, businesses must first be approved by the Department of Industry, Policy and Promotion in order to take advantage of these advantages. In order to qualify of IPR related benefits, they must also hold an inter-ministerial board certificate. You will receive a recognition number of your startup as well as a certificate of recognition right away following successful registration and document verification. Next, formalizing a business structure and a founder agreement. Formalizing a business structure and a founder agreement involves clearly defining the legal structure of your company and outlining the rights, responsibilities and obligation of each founder, ensuring a smooth and successful business journey. First, choosing a business structure. Number one, solo proprietorship. Simply structure, owner and business are treated as one with minimal legal formalities. Second, the profit and losses of business. Third, limited liabilities company offers limited liabilities to owners, separating personal assets from business debits. Next, corporation, a separate legal entity from its owner, offering potential for rising capital and long-term growth. Consideration tax implications. liability protection, easy of operation, and future growth plans should be considered when choosing a structure. Next, drafting a founder agreements. Main purpose of this founders agreement is a contract that outlines the terms of the business relationship between founders, covering ownerships, roles, responsibilities, and dispute resolution. Key elements of drafting a founders agreement. First, ownership structure. Clearly define each founder's equity in stake and how it can be transformed. Roles and responsibilities. Assign specific roles and responsibilities to each founder, outlining decision-making authority. Next, capital contribution. Document initial and future capital contribution, including terms of repayments and equity for investments. Then, intellectual property, sellouts or other mechanism. Non-compete and non-disclosure agreements include provision to protect the business interest and prevent founders from competing or disclosing confidential information. Importance of this: a well-defined draft founder agreements can prevent future conflicts, protect the interest of all the parties, and attract investors. How to apply for a business license? Listen students, how to apply for a business license. You will need all determine the specific license requirement for your business type. Gather necessary documents and complete the application form and then submit it to the relevant municipal corporation office. Here is more detailed breakdown of the process. First, determine licensing requirement. First, research needs. Second, contact relevant authorities. Reach out to the municipal corporation office or the appropriate authorities to understand the specific requirements for your business. Third, under the jurisdiction, formalize yourself with the applicable law and regulation. Application form. Obtain the necessary documents such as business plan or proof of financial stability. Third, complete and submit the application. Fill out the application form accurately and completely. Fill out the application form with all the required information. Submit the application. Submit the completed application form along with all the requirement documents and fees to the municipal corporation office. Then last, receive the license. Await approval. Once your application is approved, you will receive your business license. Renew the license. Remember to renew your license periodically as required by the relevant authorities. Taxations of startups. Startups in India can avail of several taxes benefits. Benefits are designed to encourage entrepreneurship and support the growth of small business. These benefits are subject to certain conditions and are only available to startups that are recognized by the government. These tax initiatives provide a much needed boost to startups, helping them to overcome the challenge of setting up and running a business in the competitive marketplace. Adhering of labor law. Adhering of labor laws are particular for business as it ensures a fair and safe workplace, protect employment rights, and avoid legal precautions, ultimately fostering a positive and productive environment. Here is more detailed explanation. First, purpose of labor law. Labor laws are designed to protect the rights and well-being of employees by setting standards for wages, working conditions, hours, overtime, and protection against discrimination or harassments. Benefits of legal compliance. Adhering of labor laws ensure that businesses are operating within the legal framework, avoiding potential fines, penalties and lawsuits. Employee morale and productivity. A fair and safe workplace where employees feel their rights are protected can feel to increase morale, enhancing the company's reputation, attracting and retaining talent. A positive and compliant workplace can attract and retain top talent. As professional employees are increasingly drawn to companies with a good reputation for ethical practice. Next, key areas of labor law compliance. First, minimum wages. Ensuring employees are paid to at least the legally mandated minimum wages. Working hours, adding to regulation regarding maximum working hours, overtime and rest period. Next, safe working conditions. Providing a safe and health work environment, including proper equipment, training and safety protocols. Non-discrimination, ensuring that all employees are treated fairly and without discrimination based on factors like race, gender, religion and disability. Employee benefits, providing legally required benefits such as health insurance, cards, and other relevant information. Importance of proactive compliance. First, regular audits. Conducting regular audits to ensure compliance with labor laws. Next, staying updated. Keep abreast of changes in labor laws and regulations. Clear policy. Next, developing and implementing clear and comprehensive policies on labor practice. Next, addressing grievance. Having a system in place to address employee grievance promptly and fairly. And next, thank you. Government schemes under the Startup India initiative, under this flagship initiative of the Government of India, that is Startup India. Currently 124 totally different schemes are available, which has all common edges of Startup India. As mentioned earlier, together with several custom benefits, counting on the sector scheme, the theme caters. Name of the schemes. First, venture capital. लिख लो बेटा, ये सारी स्कीम्स ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੰਮ ਆਣਗੀਆਂ. Name of the schemes. Number 1, venture capital assistance scheme. Second, support for international patent protection in electronics and information technology. Third, Startup India. Fourth, single point registration scheme. Next, extra mural research funding. Next, high risk, high reward research. Then next, IREDA NCEF refinance scheme. Next, dairy entrepreneurship development scheme. Next, redevelopment scheme for funding of regeneration for industries. Next, assistance to professional bodies and seminars. Next scheme to support in intellectual property right awareness workshops, seminars. Biotechnological grants, small business innovative research initiative, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. 4Es. 4Es means end-to-end energy and efficiency. Next, sustainable finance scheme. Next beta, promoting innovations in individual startup and MSME means micro, small and medium enterprises. New generation innovations and entrepreneurship development center. International Cooperation Scheme, enhancement of competitiveness in the Indian capital goods sector, bridge loan benefit against generation-based initiative claims, Ayurvedic biological program, technological development program, and briefly explain benefits under the startup in India. First benefit, self-certification. The main objective of this benefit to reduce the regulatory burden on startup, thereby allowing them to focus on their initial business and keep compliance cost low. Main benefit of this point, self-certification. Startup shall be allowed to the self-certified agreement for 6 labor laws and 3 environmental laws through a simple online procedure. In the case of labor laws, no assessment will be conducted for a period of 5 years. Startup may be examined only on receipt of credible and variable complaint of violence filed in writing and sanctioned by at least one level senior to inspecting officer. In this case of environmental laws, startups which fall under the white category. White category means as defined by the Central Pollution Control Board would be able to self-certified agreement and only unplanned checks would be carried out in such cases. 6 labor laws. First, the building and other construction workers under Regulation of Employment and Conditions of Services Act 1956. Second, the interstate migrant workmen under the Regulation of Employment Condition of Services Act 1979, the Payment of Guarantee Act 1972, the Contract Act 1970, the Employees Provident Funds and Miscellaneous Provision Act 1952 and Employees State Insurance Act 1948. 3 environmental laws, its assets and paying its creditors among 6 months and such appointments. Next, last, easier public procurement norm. The main objective of this easier public procurement norms. Public procurement refers to the process by which government and state-owned organization purchase products and services from the private sector. Public procurement refer to the process by which government and state-owned organization purchase products and services from the private sector. Government agencies have a lot of money to spend, and there might be a major market for startup. The goal is to make it easier for firms to participate in public procurement process and gain access to a new market for their products. The main benefits at this point, the ability to list your goods on the government e-marketplace. The government e-marketplace is an online procurement platform and the largest marketplace for government departments to procure products and services. Startups that have been recognized by the DPIIT can register as merchants on government e-marketplace and offer their goods and services directly to government agencies. This is a fantastic chance for businesses to cooperate with the government on trial orders. Next, experience turnover exemptions. In order to foster startups, the government would exempt manufacturing companies from the prior experience criteria without compromising the state quality standards or technical parameters. Startups must also show that they have the necessary capabilities to complete the project according to the specification and they have their own manufacturing facilities. Next, eligibility for the startup should be recognized by the Department of Business Promotion and Internal Trade. Move to the website and then Galvanius. Next, scenario of startups in India, most important scenario. According to the Economic Survey 2021-22, Asian countries have over 61,400 startups recognized by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, with a minimum of 14,000 recognized throughout business 2022. The survey is an annual economic report that examines the performance of varied sectors and suggests future moves. It conjointly includes a GDP growth forecast as per survey. 555 districts of Asian countries had a minimum of one new startup, demonstrating that startups in Asian countries have full grown dramatically over the last 6 years, with the bulk of them within the IT and knowledge-based sectors. Startups in India have grown up remarkably over the last 6 years. The numbers of new recognized startups has increased to over 14,000 in 2021 from only 733 in 2016 to 17. The survey said, according to the report, India has become the third largest startup ecosystem in the world after the USA and China. According to this survey, a record 44 Indian startups achieved unicorn status in 2021. Bringing the total number of startups unicorns in India to 83, with the majority in services sector. This survey also highlights the string of IPOs by new ages company. In November 2021, rupee 8,967,066 crores were raised to 75 IPOs problem, a lot more than in many years in the last decades, it said. And now last conclusion, Startup in India may be a flagship initiative of the Government of India that is Prevention and Control of Pollution Chess Amendment Act 2003 and the Air Prevention Act 1981. Next second, startup patent application and Indian intellectual property right. The main objective of this benefit innovation is bread and butter of startup. Patents are a way to protecting innovative new ideas that give your company a competitive edge. Patenting your product or process can naturally increase its value and the value of your company. However, filing a patent has traditionally been an expensive and time-consuming process which can be out of the reach of many startups. The objective is to reduce the cost and time taken for a startup to acquire a patent, making it financially viable for them to protect their innovation and boosting them to innovate further. ठीक है? Next, third, tax exemption under 80 IAC. The main benefits of this point: eligible startups can be freed from paying income tax. income tax for 3 sequential financial years out of their first 10 years since incorporation. The eligibility, the entity should be a DPIIT acceptable startup. Only private limited companies or limited liabilities partnerships are qualified for tax exemptions under Section 80 IAC. The startup should have been came into existence after 1st April 2016. The registration process and documents. Registration process. First of all, click register on the Startup India portal and click on the registration tab. Post registration and apply for the Department for Industrial Policy and Promotion recognition. Get the Section 80 IAC exemption policy form and fill all the details with the declared documents. Upload and submit the application forms. Registrations documents. Board resolutions, annual accounts of the startup for the previous 3 financial years, income tax returns for the previous 3 financial years. Next, Section 56 exemption benefits. Exemption under the Section 56 to 8B of the Income Tax Act. Investments into eligible startups by listed organization with a net worth more than Indian rupee 100 crore or turnover of more than Indian 250 crore shall be exempted under Section 56 to 8 of the Income Tax Act. Investments into eligible startups by accredited investors, non-residents, and listed organizations with a net worth more than 100 crores or turnover of more than 250 crores shall be exempted under Section 56 of Indian Tax Act. The main eligibility of Section 56 exemptions should be a private limited company, should be a DPIIT recognition startup. To get DPIIT recognition, click on Get Recognized and through the website. Not investing in specified assessed classes, startup vehicles above 10 lakhs, loans and advance capital contribution to other entitles except in the ordinary course of business. Fifth, easy winding up of the company. The main objective to build it easier for startup to finish up operations with the target of permitting entrepreneurs to apportion capital and resource to a lot of productive venture quicker, to encourage entrepreneurs to experiment with new and innovative concepts will not having to face complicated and long run exit process wherever the capital becomes interminably stuck within the event of business failures. Main benefits of this objective as per the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016, startup with easy debit structure or those meeting sure income such that criteria is found out inside 90 days of filling an application for insolvency. An insolvency skill shall be appointed for the startup shall then henceforth be a charge of the corporate and management shall now not run system to nurturing innovation and startups within the country, thereby driving long-run economic process and creating large-scale jobs opportunities. Through this initiative, the government hopes to empower startups to grow through innovation and style. The new startup initiative promise faster approval for starting a business, easier exit tax breaks and faster patent registration. This initiative has the potential to create jobs at a time when the manufacturing sector is in decline. These schemes are critically in promoting startups in India and improving the startup ecosystem. India's ranking in the terms of easing doing business has constantly improved. These initiatives contribute to the creation of more jobs opportunities for Indian youths. This scheme will successfully. With the help of this initiative, our country can transition from a country of job seekers to country of job givers in the near future. Thank you.